Good morning. It's turned out nice again. Hey, how's it going, guys? You all right? Hey, it's Friday. Yay. Woohoo. The weekend is here, yes. But you know what? I'm not going out with the boys today. I'll go for a few sherbets on a Friday. It's not happening, which I am delighted about, to be honest with you, because I don't like having a drink of Friday on a Saturday. I know that sounds stupid. I know there's a lot of you guys who are like, wish I could get lashed up on a Friday and Saturday. I don't like it, to be honest with you. So during the week, I was kind of thinking, do I not do Friday or do I not do the stream on Saturday, just to have a break. And Steve, one of the lads I meet on a Friday, the Liverpool fan, he's a good lad, Steve, I love Steve. He said he weren't feeling too good, so he's giving it a miss. So that kind of worked out. So subsequently, if I get finished today in time, I might do a live stream later this afternoon. All right, so if you're around, maybe we will be able to connect with that. We'll see, all right, because I've got quite a bit to do. Anyway, you all right? We will be doing Saturday night streaming. Is that right? Streaming or steaming? So if you've got nothing else better to do with your life, why not come along on here tomorrow night, 7:30 PM UK until late. Now, we do talk about football early on, which I guess is the point of the channel. But sometimes I'm itching to have a drink and have a bit of a party and all that. And I don't want any talk this weekend about the owners, really, or football journalists, in that clique, the patronisers, top reds. I don't want to talk about them things. So it's very, very difficult. I accept that. It's very difficult, guys. Hey, what you doing out there? It's Remy, my rescue dog. He's worse than Rodders. Who remembers Rodders? He's worse than Rodders. Rodders will sort you out, though. It's very difficult, isn't it, though, to find something else to talk about at the moment and to, lift the mood. I will be doing a video today about Jude Bellingham. I've got another video planned about Jude Bellingham as well, actually, but this isn't that one. I've mentioned it a few days ago, so I'm going to do a video about Jude Bellingham. That's something else. The video I'm doing today about Jude Bellingham is for channel members and KopTalk members, the VIPs, if you like. That's what we call them. I got to look after my members, So if you look in the video description, you'll find out how you can support me and join the squad, So yeah, if you're a channel member or a KopTalk VIP member, that you will be getting a video about Jude Bellingham today, and it's important. So, what else was I going to say? I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm just making myself a cup of tea. First cup of tea of the day. So we've got Saturday night steaming out of the way. Join me tomorrow night. Let's not talk about all the heavy subjects if we can avoid it, because passion, spills over, and I don't want to depress you guys. It's bad enough as it is. Talking of depressing, I was thinking today I'll be 50 next year, if I'm alive. I'm still 48, but technically, not technically about it, I will be 50 next year if I'm still around. I was 15 like 5 minutes ago. Where's all that gone, So, I was thinking, I know we take plenty of shots at the owners, right? And justifiably so, yeah? Absolutely, 1,000,000%. And, when you step into criticising the manager, which is what I'm going to do next, the immediate response, even by myself, is to say, well, he can only work with the tools he's got, However, I think Jurgen Klopp has been complicit in our downfall this season. I really do, because all of us, every single one of us, knew last summer what was missing and what would happen if we didn't address it. And the manager went into the season with, no, I'm happy with what I've got. I'm happy with what I got. None of this, gun to his head, yeah, I'm happy. He was convinced. And I don't know if you remember this, but quite some time ago, probably when we won the Champions League or League, I can't remember. It's like we didn't even win the league, innit, because of COVID, isn't it? But, I remember when we, I think it was the Champions League, and we just carried on as normal. Whereas, like, Man City, yes, they've got different revenue to us. That's another topic. You know, the minute they lift the trophy, the next day they're announcing a major signing or something like that. Whereas I remember saying to you guys, Liverpool have become complacent, and rival fans are now mocking that. I know you might say, I don't care what rival fans say, but I like to see what rival fans say. The mature ones, not the idiots that, you know, don't appreciate other football clubs. Like, we hate Manchester United, but I can appreciate that that's a very big, you know, prestigious and historical club. But I like to see what they say, you know, and you can often find some of the problems and things if you listen to the mature supporters from other clubs, you know, like what they think about Liverpool, what's happened to Liverpool. We don't need their validation, we don't need their opinion. But I do find it interesting. And, you know, I was saying when we were successful, we're being complacent. We're just strutting around, like, because we were good. Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. Fantastic. That's like, how would Brendan Rodgers say it? Fantastic. Anyway, I don't know. For sure. I can't do Klopp yet. What's Klopp? What should I say about Klopp? I need to do a Klopp. I need to do a Klopp. That sounds like I need to go to the bathroom. Oh, that's disrespectful. No, we were complacent. I remember saying if we, you know, you can't build on this. And look what's happened. They've pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And we've seen that, you know, this season. And the manager is part of that problem. I'm telling you guys, I don't want to knock the boss. You know, I really don't. And, you know, but if he's going to go along with it, then it's his own stupid fault. That's all I'm going to say. It's his own stupid fault. And you could say, well, what else can he do? Well, you can stamp your feet. You stamp your feet and get what you want. I'll never forget that time, you know, and I always forget the player's name. Adam Naylor mentioned it on a phone call on here on Saturday, last Saturday night streaming. Is it Martin? I can't remember his name. I can't remember. I've got a memory like a sieve. It's definitely because I'm getting older, nearly 50. And not 50 stone either, you cheeky. Hey, I'll have you know, I've lost a stone, just over a stone in weight in the last 3 weeks. How was about that then? Yeah. What's I saying? Adam Naylor. He's a YouTuber, right? A Liverpool fan. I love Adam Naylor. He's great. And, you know, he's the only YouTuber that I watch concerning Liverpool Football Club. True story. I like him. It's good. And he surprised me on the phone in last week. We had a phone in, me, him and Seano, another Liverpool fan, obviously. And I was like, because some people suggested the three of us should do a podcast, right? Which would be really difficult for me time-wise, but I really like the idea of it, you know, like on a Friday maybe, or maybe Saturday morning or something, I don't know, do it like a review of the week, because obviously I've got all sorts of things to do, but I think it would be good. And Seano, you remember, was, you know, he was Fenway we come not to pay, right? So there's people out there that really don't like him. There's people out there that really don't like me. But that's because I've refused to toe the line. And I'm not from Liverpool, and I've been successful with my website. You know, these are things that some people don't like, you know, and I've been controversial at times, no doubt about it, you know. So that's no problem. I don't have a problem with that. But there are some people out there that will hate on you immensely and target your family and things like that. And that happened to Seano, who was nothing to do with me. You know, he had Fenway we come not to pay. That's how I discovered Seano, I think, at the time. But I'd received, you know, a lot of hate online over the years. Incredible hate. You know, targeting my mum, my paralysed cousin, my children when they were little kids. And then years later, I discovered Seano, and he was getting hated on, and I tried to give him advice, you know, because I'd been through it all. So, you know, about the hate, because he was reacting badly to it, like I did when I was in my 20s and 30s even, you know. Now I just laugh about it. Like, if someone wants to say something about me, I don't care anymore, you know. Maybe I didn't care back then, but I think I didn't help because I was responding to it. And my advice to you is, if anyone hates on you or tries to bring you down, whether it's offline, at work, in a bar, if you do a podcast, videos, wherever, you've got to put that natural defence to one side and just think, all right, mate, yeah, whatever, do you know what I mean? And always smile. They hate it when you smile. You know, smile, say nothing, just smile. Because then they're like, what's he smiling about? Do you know what I mean? If you respond, you're fueling them, and that's what they want. They want to see you angry and upset. So me and Seano, we've got our friends on, lad, you know what I'm saying? And Adam Naylor's he's a young lad, and he's got this Liverpool channel. In fact, he's mentioned me before, I think, in a video or videos. And then, a couple of people jumped on him in the comments, and because of his association with me, even though he's independent of me, but, you know what I'm saying? And he surprised me, did Adam, because last weekend I went, this podcast sounds like a good idea, but, maybe you should just do your own thing, because, me and Sean are like, it might attract a couple of divs, and I don't want him to, I'm sticking up for him, like, you know what I mean, like a big brother to him. And I was like, I don't want you to have any shite sort of thing. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. He totally surprised me, he really did. You need to look up his YouTube channel, Adam Naylor, Naylor, I think. Oh, he's a good kid. Go and give him a subscribe. Go on, get him up there. He's a good lad, and he deserves your support. Anyway, so why was I talking about that? I can't remember why I was talking about that, to be honest with you. You know what I'm like, I've got a memory like a sieve. So, I know I was talking about the manager being, I was talking about the whole attitude of the club being complacent, actually. And I think the manager has played a part in that. And then when you look at our performances recently, I'm finding it really hard to single out players that can be immune from criticism. You know what I mean? So them fuckers, they've got to step up as well. And you've got to ask yourself why. Why are they like that? A turning point for me was the Mo Salah, or as Fabrizio Romano would say, Mo Salah was his contract situation. You might say, don't, you're wrong there, mate. That's fine. Maybe I, like I say, I can't remember times and things like I used to do. Honestly, I seriously have a problem with recollecting things. I can remember, things from years ago, decades ago. If you said to me a game from the 80s or 90s, who set up that assist, I'd be able to tell you probably. But if you said to me what was Liverpool's last result, I probably couldn't tell you. I think I can, but I won't go there. But that's how my memory is. I swear down, I'm not even joking. We can have a game on a Saturday, and on Tuesday, Wednesday, someone say, "Who did Liverpool play on the weekend?" I go, I don't know if that's old age or what. I don't know. It's got its advantages, seriously. So the players have a lot to answer for. And Mo Salah, in my opinion, that situation, I remember saying at the time, the way that his agent, run me a bath, I always forget his name. Rami Abbas. Him, right? I thought the way that he was conducting himself online as a professional was very childish. I mean, like, I'm not a professional, No, honestly, I'm not, guys. You know what I'm saying? But, we're just football fans, right? And he acted like a teenager, I thought. I think he was a jumped up, to be honest with you. And he attacked the manager. Some of you might not see that if you don't follow social media. He attacked the manager just indirectly. And I think the whole thing unsettled a lot of stuff. And he got that, Salah's got that bumper pay rise, and I don't think he's been the same since, personally. Still a great player. I'm not hating on Salah. Sometimes you say things like this and you get people like, where's your support? And it's like, God, of course you support. Listen, do you remember when all right, I'll rephrase it. I won't say we. When I used to call Jordan Henderson 5-yard, right? Come on, he was not the greatest of players at one time. Some people will say he's still not, but I think he's great. I think Jordan's been great for us, to be honest. But I used to call him 5-yard. But that's because he used to pass the ball 5 yards all the time. And I'll be honest with you, I can pick, a player I've always liked Jordan Henderson. But just because I might call him 5-yard, don't mean that on a Saturday I don't want to see him pass the ball 50 yards, give it, a great ball or something to someone or support him. If I've got, You know, there's been players in the past, Jose Enrique, for example, used to get right on my tits, all right? You know, I can't remember the exact time. I'm sure we lost to Man United or someone, and within hours he was sat in business class on a flight with his with his girlfriend or missus or whatever, with a selfie stick. You know, on the way to, you know, he's out holding it out like that. You know, on the way to the Middle East or something like that. Them pesky Arabs, you know, and it's like, whoa, you know. So I didn't, you know, I actually think you're not being very. It's just not using your head. You know what I mean? So there's been players over the years that I've been annoyed with, but it don't mean that I don't want them to do well. You know, this is what you've got to understand. You're allowed to do that as a football supporter. There was a time when, you know, I wanted Brendan Rodgers to leave the club. I was like, nah, it's just not working, you know. But every single time we played a game, I wanted him to prove me wrong. I said, come on, Brendan, do it, Brendan. Prove me wrong. Turn things round. But it didn't happen. That's just, you know, you support on the day. You put all your opinions to one side and you get behind the team, whether that's the players, the manager, whatever. But those fucking players this year, right, some of them should be ashamed of themselves. I really do think that. And it's like they've been all like, oh, look at us, we're mint, right? And now they've gone, you know, we're struggling, so that's it. Yeah, it's like no one can be arsed. No, there are exceptions. There definitely are exceptions. And please, you know, if you agree with me with this, tell me who your exceptions are. I'm sure if you want to be the best at something in life, right, then you want the best people around you, the best surroundings around you, the best tools around you, the best working environment. You know, if you're working in an office job and you've got, you know, a shitty computer like me, or it depends which computer I'm on, to be honest. I got 2 Mac Minis last year, I think, and they're all right. But you know, like, if you haven't got a great office environment and you're working with a div and he's making your job, you know, he's not pulling his weight, or he's frustrating, isn't it? Because you're having to do more for him, and then eventually you just go, do you know what, can't be doing with it. And then you're hearing, or, you know, gossip about the senior management or the owners of the company, and you're like, oh, well, hopefully they're gonna, you know, grasp things and put things right, so things will pick up around here where I work and that. But then when they don't, it's got to affect you mentally. And why are footballers any different? You're telling me, right? Are we supposed to believe that these players are just robots and they don't have private conversations and say, what do you reckon's going to happen then with Sale? You know, nah, out. Might be a while before we win something then if we haven't got the investment. Yeah. What are you doing? Are you thinking of hanging around, or are you going to... Do you know what I mean? It's got to affect things. And, you know, I think we became complacent again. And when Rafa Benitez was manager of Liverpool, we used to have that, like, we need to, you know, finish top 4, even going back to Jed, right? To Gerard Houllier, God bless him. And there's a difference between a team that qualifies for the Champions League and a Champions League club. This was pointed out to me a few years ago, and I thought about it, and it's right. So a Champions League club, I think Rafa made us a Champions League club, right? Where 9 times out of 10, you know, by default, you're in the Champions League because you're a really good team. You're not struggling and trying to get in the Champions League. And we've kind of dropped down back to that again, clearly, as things are at the moment. Nobody has any guarantees, but I just think there's a difference between a club that plays in the Champions League and a Champions League club. You know, you Liverpool are expected to be a Champions League club. Maybe I'm not explaining that very well. But, you know, we've dropped out now. And the big thing is now, you know, people are saying, people are trying to defend this and think the transfers are going to be great in the summer. And they may be, let's see what happens. You know, saying, well, you know, it's only a year, isn't it? And it's like, people are actually saying that it's only a year that we won't, you know, be in the Champions League, assuming, you know, we don't qualify, as Rafa would say. For sure. I remember when, you know, when Liverpool were dominating, when I was a young lad back in the 80s and that, in the early 90s and through the 90s or whatever. So I think 1986 was my first Liverpool game, which was Liverpool versus Everton, FA Cup final at Wembley. I would have been 11, I think, then. And, you know, so I went through a period of seeing Liverpool, like, Liverpool won everything, guys. I mean, like, you know, and I know there's older fans than me that have seen even more success, but we weren't scared of anyone. We won everything, you know. And then when we didn't win the league, when we started to decline, when Kenny left and Souness came in, and this isn't a dig at Souness, he tried to put everything right. You know, I think Souness is a hero, to be honest with you. I still think he's a massive club legend. Oh, I wouldn't want to get up wrong side of him, would you? Oi, what are you doing? I remember thinking, well, we haven't won league this year, but we'll be next year. And look, look how that went, right? So don't just assume that Liverpool will, if they don't qualify this year, don't get top four. That that it's just a year, isn't it? You just don't know, because you look at other clubs, even Newcastle, and they're getting better, and Arsenal are doing the business. I mean, listen, I ain't got a problem with Arsenal, but I was glad to see them miss that penalty shootout. I felt awful because one of my bestest friends, Stu, well, he's a very close friend. I won't say he's my bestest friend because I don't see him very often, but he's a good kid and he lives in London, obviously. Well, not obviously, but he's an Arsenal fan, and he is a genuine, Arsenal fan. That's controversial, isn't it, saying he's a genuine Arsenal fan? Well, so he can't spot. I don't mean it like that. I mean he's just like born and bred Arsenal fan, you know what I mean? I didn't mean genuine, yes. No, I wouldn't. No, I'm not backtracking. Well, I am backtracking on that. I'm digging an hole, aren't I? Yeah, it's not language I usually use, but what I mean by that is he's not latched onto the club as an adult because they were successful at some point. He's been an Arsenal fan since he was a kid. That's what I would define as genuine, yeah. No, don't take the piss. That's what I do think that. And I think that when Chelsea started being successful, I was seeing like fully grown men suddenly becoming Chelsea fans. Same with Leeds United many, many years ago. I grew up, alongside Leeds United fans. My family's either Liverpool or Leeds, right? Split down the middle, my family. All my cousins. One side's all Leeds, one side's all Liverpool because of me. And when Leeds started, do you remember when Leeds were amazing in the Champions League before all their troubles and stuff like that? All of a sudden, in my hometown of Scarborough, there's fellas walking around with Leeds tops on, that used to go to local that had never had a Leeds top on. But the same lads would be there without Leeds tops on that were Leeds fans during the bad days. So what I'm trying to say is you do have these glory hunters that come out. I understand like kids do it. I get that. Well, look at my little shit of a grandson. It's bad enough he's ginger. He's got a Sunderland kit because his dad's Sunderland. He's got a Liverpool kit because his mum, my daughter, is Liverpool. So they've had to compromise on that. But recently, some of you will know, because I published a photograph, he's got a Man City kit. What is that all about? Snivelling little. Anyway, so I asked about that. I'm genuinely bothered about that. I was like, well, why? What's he got that for? You know what I mean? And his mum said, well, all of his favourite players, or the majority of them, are Man City players. So I had to go into this yeah, but you'd have to explain to him that players come and go, they move on and all that, But anyway, I'm very uncomfortable with it. But he'll make his own minds up. If he wants to be, anyway, it doesn't matter. Fucker. She's Liverpool, man. I'm very disappointed in my daughter, actually. Although, little Rob, my son, I once bought him a Newcastle kit. It's true. But you know why that was? That was back around Istanbul time, maybe a little bit later or not. I can't remember. Rob was tiny. And I lived up near Newcastle then. And I was being hated on so much, I was like, I don't want my boy to grow up in this environment with these people. Because I became very anti-Liverpool, really, at the time. Oi! Well, not anti-Liverpool, just that anti... We talk about them quite a bit on here, like that little section of supporters that will hound you online. And those particular types were from Liverpool. And they were awful, and it just turned me off the entire thing because I didn't think back then like I think now that they are not representative of everyone. I got it in my head then because I was a younger lad, right? So everyone from Liverpool's, you know, they don't like out-of-towners and stuff like that, you know. So we were in a huge, giant sports store one day trying to get, you know, Rob a new Liverpool kit. And he went, I might get that Newcastle one, Dad. And I was like, what do you want that for? He went, well, he went, it's local, innit? You know, it's near. He was only young, dead young. I mean, what? 7? 8? 6? I don't know. He was born in 99, was Rob. So, yeah, I don't know, probably. And I kind of liked his thinking. I applauded it. He was like, well, we live up here, Dad. Well, he didn't live up here. He did on weekends and holidays. And he was like, you know, it's local, isn't it, Dad? You know, maybe I should wear this. And he went to one of their soccer schools, you know. I said, all right, son, I'll get you it. Like, you know, I was quite proud of him, really, at that age, making that decision. Although I think inside I was really upset. I'll be honest with you, I absolutely hate everything to do with Liverpool Football Club around the time we won Istanbul, because them people made my life hell. They really did. And I might have been online laughing and joking about it, you know, but they really, they made it unbearable. I didn't enjoy Istanbul, the cup final, because I hated it all. It's true. It's sad, really, because they took that away from me. Anyway, the kids, they can do what they want. They realise when they get older. What I'm saying about Stu is, you know, he's been Arsenal all his life, and he's from that way, and I just think he's a good kid. Anyway, so I'll be honest, I was quite chuffed that Arsenal crashed out. Only because I don't want anyone to, like, take away our, you know, take us out of the spotlight kind of thing, if that makes sense. So, like, older football supporters, you know, I used to be in the boozer when I lived in England, and they would say, well, no matter what the team was, it was an English team. It was like, oh, you always support an English team in Europe, don't man? You know what I mean? You don't want these French bastards or Spanish bastards, whatever, you know. But you know, whoever they were, it was like, no, you got to. We're always cheering on an English team. But I think they were more neutrals than anything. And I used to say, Manchester United in Europe, I couldn't give a flying who they're playing. And I was cheering United on, stuff that. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't know. I mean, if Arsenal got to the final, let's say, hypothetically, had they got to a final, Arsenal, Tottenham, you know, I mean, if Newcastle got to a European Cup final, yes, I would support them. Yeah, because one of my friends here, and I like their fans, and it would also look pretty shitty on FSG that another club had been successful and after, you know, getting new ownership. Anyway, but I mean, I'd want Arsenal to win for me mates, but I don't want anyone to take, you know, like, I remember thinking, you know, like when Man United won league, when we collapsed, I used to think, doesn't matter. And then before you knew it, they were stacking another one up, another one up, and another one up. You know what I mean? And they soon, like, surpass or get past your trophy hall, you know. How do you feel about that when another English club, you know, is playing? Look at that light there, look, I'm trying to avoid it. Oh, it's beautiful outside. I've had to shut the blinds a little bit. So where's it coming from? I think it's up there. Oh God, that's blinding me out. How do you feel about that when another English club is playing in Europe? Do you ever go, yeah, come on then? I know you're going to say, maybe you're going to say it depends who it is. I mean, because there's no way in the world I could ever want Manchester United to win a European Cup. And I don't want Man City to either. And Newcastle fans have been getting on my tits, but I you know, come on. But they couldn't win a fight, to be honest, Newcastle, really, at the minute. That cup final, I mean, I enjoyed that cup final, but, you know, the recent League Cup final. Anyway, typical fatty older man going off on all sorts of subjects. Klopp is complicit. But then you can argue, well, where would we be without Klopp? It's a good shout, so you can't. You're knackered. But it's his own stupid fault, that's what I think. The players have down tools, which normally when this happens, people say, has the manager lost the dressing room? I don't believe that for 1 minute. I'm saying that's what normally people say. They'll say they've stopped playing for the manager. The owners, well, We don't know where that's going to go. I suspect, right, let me rephrase that. I believe that they will have a minority investment package deal that they can put over the line at any time. I do believe that. I think that's there. But they seem to be holding at the moment. So what happens next is dependent on all of that. But they know in the summer, they've got to do something good in the summer, because if they don't, they'll be hell on. All right? They'll be hell on. And you're going to have to watch things very, very, carefully in the summer. You're going to have to pay a lot of attention to, fringe players that might move out. Excuse me, you're going to have to think about what that frees up on the wage bill. Don't think for one moment that they wouldn't sell Mo Salah this summer. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm not saying he's available. I just know FSG. But they also know that if they get Jude Bellingham, and I'm going to do a video about this shortly because I've got something I want to talk to you guys about in private. Read the video description if you want to join and watch that. They also know that if they can pull that signing off, that the fans will be elated, they'll be buzzing, right? Buzzing, man, I'm buzzing, innit? Yeah. So they know that would be something very, 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 that wins the fans over. But think how much that would cost. And we haven't got Champions League now, remember, guys? I hate being a conspiracy theorist, but have you noticed how conspiracy theorists are usually right? Just saying. I hate being a conspiracy theorist, but I can't answer this, so maybe there is no conspiracy, but I just don't understand the timing of that ticket prices announcement, or unless it's just because well, it's March. My immediate thought when that news came out, which I didn't think was bad news, by the way. A lot of people said, "Oh, it's what did they say? It's cruel. Like £1 increase, really, in 8 years or something." No, it's not. We've gone over it, so if you've got different opinions to me, that's fine. But yes, there's other ways they could do it, and were they testing the water? Was it the start of more to come next year? Was it? I don't know. Like, if they said it's a £2 increase, he still couldn't have been angry. But £1 is very small, and to the point of why. Do you see what I mean? Like, listen, I'm not looking for something. I'm just looking at the way FSG usually work. We've seen some movements, in personnel, senior management and the running of the club the last week or so. I just feel something's going to happen. And the only thing you would think about that on that front would be club related, investment, sale, them kind of things. But if you get a new sporting director or whatever, someone to deal with all the signings and the prestige, and they're coming from a prestige that would be seen as, very uplifting. They need to uplift the fan base. They need to do something. And I don't think a new bus is going to do it this time. So I would be on guard. I'm preparing myself. Literally, at the moment, I shit you not, every day I'm like, right, what's going to happen today? And I just feel like something is coming. But I don't know what. I've no idea. I'm usually right. Just saying. Don't know what's best, It's true. So, yes, we want to blame the owners for everything. Yes, ultimately they're at the top of the tree. But them players need a kick up the arse, and so does the manager as well. Because, you know, you can end up believing your own shite at the end of the day, you know, and getting wrapped up in, oh, I'm a god and all that, you know what I mean? And but it's just in my natural instinct, I don't want to criticise the manager too much, you know, because ultimately it's down to them. But he went into this season knowing what we all knew, and it's his own stupid fault. It's his own stupid fault, and he has to realise that. It's no good turning up at a press conference, you know, and being sulky and all the fans going, oh, he didn't look very happy today. You know, it's got to stop. Right, listen, you think of it like this. He's got a great working relationship with him. That's all that's all he ever bangs on about, right? We're all on the same page and all that. Yeah, sure. I would be if I was on that salary, Jurgen. But there's no, like, if you've got such a good relationship, it doesn't mean you've got to be an arse and, you know, bang the door down, which is what we all want him to do, and go, right, sort it out or I'm off, right? I think we'd all like that. Well, we don't want him to go. But why is he not turning around saying, for the love of God, you know, look what we've done. Look what we've achieved. Look what is possible here. You have to back me more. Now, I'm not talking about spending zillions. We know for a fact the manager has been denied transfer funds in the 20 to 30 million pound region before. You know, no, you can't have that player unless you sell Shaqiri and Origi first and stuff like that. That shouldn't be happening at a club like Liverpool, guys. That just shouldn't be happening at Liverpool. That's not right, that. Nah, fuck that. You know, you look back to David Moores, you know, I'm sure if you Google, I can't remember, you know, I've just told you about my memory. I'm sure he personally made the Dirk Kuyt signing happen, financed it. I'm not saying he didn't get his money back or anything, but I think if you Google it, or some of you might remember, I think that was the case at the time, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, because my memory's shot, you know what I mean? But I have, you know, you got to remember, I don't know what year we signed Dirk Kuyt, but if I remember rightly, there was a, you know, situation where the money maybe wasn't there. It was certainly with someone. I'm sure it was Dirk Kuyt. And I'm sure David Moores found the money. I'm sure he did. If I'm wrong, hang me if you can find some rope strong enough. And that's where it annoys me. Because back in the day, a Liverpool manager would go to his chief executive and say, I want that player. Right? And the chief executive would go back to the board and relay that message and say, the boss wants that player. And them old farts would sit round that table, smoking a pipe and a cigar, and they would make it happen. They would find the funds. There was no war chest or transfer kitty. And they would say to the chief executive, make it happen. And then he would do his best to make it happen and present that player to the Liverpool manager. That's how it used to be at Liverpool, more or less through the club's entirety. And if Jurgen Klopp turns around and says, I'm sure Jurgen Klopp turns around and says, yeah, I'd love that Mbappe and I'd love, Bellingham. Sometimes I call him Bellamy. I don't know if you noticed that. But I'm sure the manager would love to do that. But he doesn't. I mean, there could be some serious issues if we didn't get Bellingham, if the clubs say, well, we think you can reinvest that money a different way. But if the manager turns around and says there's a player, 20 to 30 million, really? Incredible. They should turn around and say, all right, we want to balance the books, we don't want to be irresponsible, but we have got those assets that we're going to move out at some point. We'll find the money, Jurgen. We'll find it. We'll make it happen for you. And that's the bit, as a Liverpool supporter, that bothers me about the owners. Not the inability to bring Mbappe in and to bring Bellamy. See what I did there? It's those little deals. Look what he did with Andy Robertson. Where are these? Where are those players? Is it a situation where the boss goes, I can't even go and get a 10 to 15 million gamble because I need that 10 or 15 million to put towards a bigger deal? And it's that lack of ambition and support that frustrates me about the owners. It really does. The fact that they're absent owners is something that really bothers me. At least at Newcastle, whether you support Middle East ownership or, at least Staveley's there with the main man that's in place there and all that. Whether these are good people or bad, who cares? If you're a billionaire, you're probably not a good person anyway, to be honest. But at least they're there. Abramovich, at least he was there. At Man City, at least they're there. I don't follow these things, these clubs like I follow Liverpool, but I see plenty of highlights where I see the owners focused on in the director's box, or whatever you want to call it. Liverpool's got an empty seat. And my season tickets, let me think, bang opposite the directors. Well, not bang opposite, because it was down there more to the Kop side, but I used to be able to, see that seat empty. And that used to wind me up so much. Because you think about that, guys. What would you give to sit in that seat? What would you give to sit in that seat? Whether it's on your own, with your missus, with your kid, whatever. And don't forget their seats aren't like our seats. What would you give? What would it mean to you to sit in that seat? And not just be the main man or the main woman, I'm here. It's my club. Not just that. Even if someone said you can just sit there. I've been in there. I've been in there. And I went to a tournament, a pre-season tournament once when Rick Parry was CEO. And he was sat. Was he sat? He must have been sat one row in front of me. I can't be in front of him. If he did, he won't see much of the game back then. I was a lot bigger than now. It's nice. It's nice. And at half time, you go up those little steps and get a cup of tea or, bite, biscuit, something like that. We'll put that to one side. What would you give? What would it mean to you to sit in that? How important is that seat? The chairman. That tells you everything, I think. I think that tells you everything about these fuckers. But there comes a point where if they decide they are not going to sell the club, or they're not going to do investment, or they do investment, minor investment, there comes a time when we're going to have to accept it. You might say, no, Dunk, I'm never accepting it. What I mean by that is accept it to give yourself some peace up here. There was a lad, or a lass, I think it was a lad, commented on here. Was it Raf? Can't remember his name. I'm sorry, you've got to imagine how many people comment and that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. You look at the comments in a video that I did the other day, and he said, Dunk, I had hope, when that news came out that the club might be sold. I felt, I don't know his exact words, but he was basically saying he felt like fresh and hopeful and enthusiastic again. And then it's all been taken away from him again. He's just like slumped. And he went, and I think he might have commented about, or someone else did somewhere about me, my attitude. Someone definitely said the last few months has been like having the old Dunk back. Because, I started making these videos when I'm making a cup of tea and stuff like that. And I was enthusiastic again. Whereas prior to all the, the thoughts that they might leave, I was a bit like, I'm just sick of it. I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to lie. And, I'm supposed to be all like happy clappy and, let's bring this together and subscribe to my channel. What's up? And all that, and I shouldn't be trying to bring you, I'm not trying to bring you down, but I shouldn't be reminding you of things or highlighting things that are maybe negative because that affects me financially. It's true. It's true. And I need every fucking penny I can get. Trust me at the moment. But I can't be fake. And I went through them last few months doing these videos in here with you, and you'll have noticed that they've dropped off a little bit in the last couple of weeks since the news came out that it looked like they were going to stay. If I was coming in here 2-3 times a day, I'm still doing my vids and everything, and you still, clearly, right? But already, I'm feeling like I'm going back down to that. God. So like, how do you handle that? How do you deal with that? How do you, you know, I want to watch football and I want to cheer the team on, and I just thought, for the benefit of everybody, whether they are supportive of FSG, anti-FSG, whatever, I just thought a change of ownership would bring a new, you know, an injection of enthusiasm and hope. It doesn't mean that we'd have been guaranteed anything any better, but that it would reset everything. You know, the fans, you know, whether they were defending them all the time or opposing them all the time, the conversation would stop. And we'd be in that new exciting period of, oh, what happens now then? Like we were when they originally took over, right? What happens now then? Do you know what I mean? Will we go for that player? Will we go for this player? Just, would you? I would love to see. And why does it sound like someone's holding my balls? I would love to see an owner sat in that director's box. Little things like that. Just little things like that. Watching, learning, understanding, feeling the ambience, the goods, the bads, looking at the cop to your right and seeing how they look, and the fans all around you when things are going wrong. And also when things are going right. Because they influence, you know, surely how you feel and how you operate and how you treat whatever you own or what you're in control of. So, for example, if I'm in my lounge at home, or you're in your lounge at home, and your missus walks in, or your husband, I was going to make a joke, better not. And she walks in and she goes like that, or he walks in and she goes, oh, just shut up, Duncan. She walks in, right? And you're sat in the lounge and she walks in and she goes, and walks out. You're sat there on the sofa and you go, oh, fucking hell, what's wrong with her? She's not happy, I need to do something to her. So I put kettle on, love, right? It's the same, trust me, it's the same thing at Anfield, because if you're sat there and you've got thousands of fuckers all around you going, you know, hiding away from it is, it's just cowardly. But I'm not saying just about the negatives. Why not be there, you know, when she walks in the lounge and goes, all right, big boy. I was like, oh, maybe they don't do that. Maybe I don't like that. I'm just talking about myself, you know what I mean? All right, handsome. And I'd be sat there going, me, yeah, you all right? It's nice and clean in here, so yeah, it's tidy, yeah. All right, yes, love, yeah. And she goes, yeah, she leaves the room. Yeah, gotta get a picture tonight. Let's get some aspirin down. All right. Now listen, same thing at Anfield. You're a chairman, you've just battered Manchester United. The fans are looking at you, I fucking love you. And you leave there thinking everything, yeah, that's good. All right. I'm saying, same thing, innit? You know? But if you hide away from your responsibilities, yeah? Your wife walks in the lounge and she goes, look at the fucking mess in here. Fat cunt, what's he? Look at the fucking trainers on the floor down there. Fucking plate. But I'm upstairs in bedroom, right? Or in me, you know, man cave or whatever. I don't know what's going on, do I? I don't know what's going on. And I'm not there to have a communication, so she sends me a message. Get that fucking, you know, I'm displeased. And I can just go, how are you feeling? Because I'm not there, I'm not feeling the wrath. As many of you guys will know what I'm talking about. Get me an old school chairman. It doesn't have to be old school anymore. Just get me someone there that's bothered. That's all I want. Accountability. Instead of hiding away. Now, if I own their baseball team, right? Rounders. Baseball? Fucking Rounders, isn't it? Right? Have you ever been to... I was talking to Smooth about this the other day. Smooth's my best friend, right? My token black friend, by the way. He'd kick off now because he'd say, well, I'm not black and I'm not white. Anyway, that's by the by. Whatever shade he is my token non-white friend. I'll say it, right? I was talking to him about this the other day, about baseball. And I said, what a load of shit. I said, you ever been? I said, it's terrible. Because he's American. I don't know if I just mentioned that. He's American. He lives in America. And we met on the Xbox 20 years ago on Xbox Live. And he became my best man, my best friend, my brother. He's incredible. If you come to the stream on a Saturday night, I usually phone him when I'm pissed. And he goes, oh, anyway, Smooth's a legend. He's mint. And I said to him, I said, have you been to baseball? Because I remember when Tom Hicks invited me over to Dallas. And do you remember I had that fight with that cowboy? It's a true story. He broke my nose. My nose was over here. It was under my eye. And I clicked it back in because I'm an hard fucker. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm passive. But I had a fight, you know, something here. It doesn't matter. Someone upset my mum, so fucking good, you good. Right? Tom Hicks says, I've never had any trouble here in all the years I've won the, whatever it was, Dallas. Also, no, that was the hockey side. I don't know. All a load of shots, same to me anyway. But I went to the baseball. I was bored off my tits. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Couldn't stand it. Awful. And I said to Smooth, I went, it's boring, isn't it? And he went, yeah. He went, but he said, when we used to go when we were younger, he went, that's because all girls went. He went, all lasses used to go to baseball. He went, so there was, you know, plus side to it. Yeah, fair enough, innit? Yeah. But if I own Red Sox, like, and someone said to me, you know, come into a game, I'd be like, no, you're all right, thanks. Because I couldn't give a shit. I would genuinely would be thinking, well, I want to make as much money as I can. See, I'm falling onto their wavelength now, the other way around. And I went to Fenway Park a few years ago. I think I did the videos. They might even be on here. They'll be on here. I think if you go to my YouTube channel, which you might be already on, and just put Fenway in, Fenway Park or something like that, I'm sure it'll... I don't know, I've no idea, but I'm sure I made some videos with Rob and that. Yeah, it's not for me, that, like, and that's why I think soccer isn't for them. It's just not the same. I mean, if I was passionate about, you know, if I owned their baseball rounders team or whatever, and I was passionate about it, I'd understand it, wouldn't I? I'd understand it. I couldn't go and run that club and expect to understand and what I don't know what baseball means to their supporters. I know that they've been critical of the ownership out there as well. John Henry was booed recently, for example, and the same thing, ticket prices. But I don't know what it means to them. I don't know if they've got the same love and affection as we are for our football club, or whether it's... I'm sure that they do. History's history, isn't it? So you play your rivals and there's big games and whatnot. Red Sox, White Sox, Black Sox. I don't know. I have no idea how it works out there. The only socks I have are the ones here. And it took me about 20 minutes to get on this morning. Fat fucker. They're all complicit. They're all complicit. Owners, manager to an extent, because it's his own stupid fault. He knew what we needed in the summer. The players, absolutely, they shouldn't be getting a free ride. Like, the manager's getting shit because the players are not performing, and the manager's getting shit because he can't work miracles all the time. And it seems like everyone's, like, the owners are escaping criticism, the players are escaping. Well, the owners are not escaping criticism, they're escaping accountability, as are the players. That's a better way of wording it. And we've got Jurgen in the middle that's trying to make it all work. There's no wonder he's snappy as fuck sometimes at a press conference. And I mean, they're all complicit. They all need to fucking give their head a wobble. The fans are complicit because some of the fans are accepting the way the club is at the minute. If you want to turn around to me and say, what's the problem? Liverpool are successful, they're doing well, and they've turned, you know, they've improved the stadium and they've overseen it. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. But you can't say that the club is being run correctly when we have all these issues over personnel leaving every 5 minutes and not having people, you know, you've got a guy that's in charge of transfers that's leaving the club soon, that's talking apparently to other clubs while he's supposed to be negotiating deals for us. So if he's got one player that he thinks he'd be a fucking, you know, I can't believe we can get him. Is he not already thinking, well, if I go to that club, then maybe I could make that deal happen there. They'll be really impressed with me, my new employees. Is that not a conflict of interest? Slightly, at least? Am I clutching? Maybe that's ridiculous, but I'd be fucking thinking it if I was him. If I was, you know, like, if you thought, right, I can get this really, really good player, and everyone thinks his wages are going to be 300 grand a week, 250 grand a week, but because I'm the football director and I talk to these people, I know I can get him for 100 grand a week. And if my employers are up for that, are you really? I don't know, maybe, I know they're just professionals, right? They're professionals. They only think about where they're working, right? Okay. All right. But anyway, the fans are complicit. So you know, like, why isn't people not going mental about certain positions not being filled at the club? Why have you looked at the table of the amount of players being injured at Liverpool compared to other clubs? I believe where I don't know how you want to say whether you're the top or the bottom of that table or whatever. Something's not right there. You know, players burning out. Is it like youngsters? Or manager? I don't know. I don't know. Journalists, they're definitely complicit. But they're not the club. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. They're not the club. So you don't have to be FSG out or FSG in. You just need to go, well, honestly, even if you are FSG in, which I don't have a problem with that, if that's how you feel, I'd be quite happy to be FSG in if they listened and said, right, okay, but they're not. They don't care. So if you're FSG in and you can't see the things that need putting right, there's something wrong, you know what I mean? Like, but you could say to me now, all right, Chubbs, what's the answer then? I don't have the answers. That's why I make these videos, to see what everybody thinks. Unfortunately, most supporters don't have a voice. You know, you don't have a voice and they don't care what you think anyway. But as long as they're getting paid hundreds of thousands, millions a year, and making billions, you know, depending on what rank you are at the club, maybe that's all they're bothered about. The mentality through Liverpool Football Club at the moment is not what I am used to. And it seems to me that from top to bottom, there is complacency and everyone's lost the appetite or desire. So what we need going into the summer is enthusiastic owners that go to the manager and go, we're going to do it, Jurgen, we're going to do it, mate. And Jurgen goes, yeah, right, okay, no, we're going to do it then. And he can say that to the players. And if anyone don't like it, they can fucking whistle and go. Start again. Do you know what I mean? And having a strong bench is important as having a strong team on the pitch. Because if you're Mo Salah, right, and you haven't got someone on the bench that's breathing down your neck to get in the side, then where's the motivation then as a player on the pitch? Do you know what I mean? Right. An hour. Jesus Christ. You could have watched a movie. But I know some people like my long videos. I do. Some people like them. They tell me. They'll say, I watched it all done. Yeah, I watched it while I was working, or, you know, this, that, and the other. Anyway, so, well, it's Friday. I'd be flapping now, because, like I say, I normally go to the pub on a Friday, but not today. Might stream later, I don't know. I have this Bellingham thing that I need to do for you guys, all right? For the members. Is your name in the video description, by the way? Not if you remember, but have you supported the channel in another way recently? Your name should be in the video description below. Shame on you if it ain't. Just saying. I don't care. You kids can go without food for as far as I'm concerned. Ah, dear me. Yeah, every morning, I think I put this out on Twitter yesterday, at Duncan Oldham, and at KopTalk TV. You should be on that. You should follow that if you've got Twitter, because then you know when there's a new video. At KopTalk as well. At KopTalk members. At KopTalk podcast. At Dunk Knows Best. What was I going to say? I think I said yesterday, I put every morning I put the TV on, there's someone going on strike. Well, I'm considering going on strike, because I think I'm undervalued, just saying. I think I am. Do you know what? I think I'll have another cup of tea, but don't worry, I won't put you through it. I'm going to go. All right? Ooh, look at that. Almost bang on an hour. Do you reckon I can do it? No, I bet you when I upload it, it'll say 1 hour and 1 minute or something stupid like that. So let me know your thoughts about everything I've said in this video. Let me know what you're up to this weekend. Are you joining me on the stream tomorrow night? Yeah? 7:30 PM UK. It'd be nice. to have a chat, catch up, etc, etc. And yeah, I'll be back. Listen, I've got this video to make for the channel members and KopTalk VIP members. Look in the video description below for details on how you can support me and watch that. Cheers, guys.